Hello YouTube, I'm Connor, and today we are going to take a look back at the iPhone 3G. This phone originally came out in 2010 and it was Apple's second generation of iPhone. This phone actually set a standard for Apple as it showed us that Apple would offer a new, upgraded version of its phone every single year. Sadly, I do not have a box for this device, so for today, we will skip the unboxing. Taking a look at the device itself, this phone has a 3.5-inch LED display with a resolution of 480 by 320, good for a PPI of 165. No, this display is not a Retina display. That was not introduced until the iPhone 4. This display is really pixelated and looks washed out. The back-facing camera has a whopping 2 megapixels, and to the right of it, well, there's nothing. That's right, this phone does not even have an LED flash. That too was not introduced until the iPhone 4. The camera on the iPhone 3G also cannot take video. This phone also lacks a front-facing selfie camera. The processor inside this phone is a Samsung 32-bit single-core processor clocked at 620 MHz. The phone is also paired with 128 megabytes of RAM. The storage configurations available for this phone include an 8GB configuration and a 16GB configuration. The battery inside this phone is a 1150 mAh battery. The phone is also equipped with a headphone jack and a 30-pin dock connector. The latest operating system this phone can run is iOS 4.2.1. The phone has a plastic unibody design with a stainless steel chamfered edge. The phone's plastic design along with its small overall form factor makes the phone have a nice grip to it. This phone had two color options available, white and black. Sadly, because of the phone's obsolete operating system, iOS 4, basically no apps that are available on the App Store today work on this iPhone, including benchmarks. The only benchmark that I was able to find a version that works was the performance test. The phone scores a 3 megabyte per second write speed and a 5 megabyte per second read speed. As always, take those numbers with a grain of salt as I purchased this phone off of eBay, and I do not know how this SSD was treated. The phone also scores 11 FPS in the simple 3D test, as well as 9 FPS in the complex 3D test. Lastly, the iPhone 3G scores a 169 on the HTML5 test. Warning: do not expect anything from the camera on the iPhone 3G. This phone has one camera and one camera only, and it is the 2 megapixel rear camera. Looking at the daylight shot, it surprisingly has a lot of color and the photo doesn't seem too overexposed. But the phone lacks the ability to change your focus or exposure when taking the shot, so the photos turn out blurry and grainy. Moving on to the low light performance shot, there is nothing. This device is not equipped with a flash, so any photos taken in the dark will come out pitch black. Would I recommend using the iPhone 3G in 2017? No. As you might expect with a smartphone that is almost 10 years old, basically no apps are compatible with it anymore. Surprisingly, the YouTube website still works somewhat okay on this phone. You just have to pretend the videos are at a higher resolution and frame rate. Also, because the device is stuck on iOS 4 and the current version of iOS is 11, there have been so many features added to iOS over the years. This means many things you use on a daily basis today weren't even available when this phone was produced. For example, double-clicking the home button on any iPhone running iOS 6 or later will bring up the multitasking area to force quit apps. On the iPhone 3G though, it opens the phone app. One extremely simple feature not present on the iPhone 3G is the ability to change your home screen wallpaper. You just have to accept the plain background. Also, iMessage isn't even a feature on this phone. That means you must have an activated SIM card inside of it for the phone to be able to text people. But that also presents another issue. The iPhone 3G only supports up to 3G cellular capabilities, hence the name. The problem with that though is that carriers do not support older phones like this anymore, so the iPhone 3G won't even be able to get cellular service. All in all, this phone most likely can't even be used as a desperate smartphone backup because it cannot even connect to cellular service, making this phone even more useless. Thanks for watching my old hardware video on the iPhone 3G. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. Also, if you or someone you know still owns the iPhone 3G, let me know in the comments what you used this device for in 2017.